Hey guys, it's Mythicode here. I want to talk about a project I've been working on today. It is called ATF, or, and its full name, 1,000 Fables. It is a MMORPG project in Bedrock Edition that has sandbox elements. My friend who was working on it with me called it a fantasy factions, which I feel like fits it quite well with how we wanted it to go. I'm kind of just like making this to document progress so far and any future progress I might make. So yeah, it's that. Right now we have 2 things done since yesterday. We have the dungeon maker done. So now whenever I right click with this, it's quite a big spike in scripts. That's a problem as well. Sometimes it does that. It's not supposed to do that, obviously. This is annoying. I'm gonna fix this by saving the structure inside the behavior pack, and therefore it will always default to the big variations of the path instead of the small variations. But for now, let's go quickly. Just add all these back in. Essentially, there are this many tiles, which is 15? Yes, 15. I'm like dead inside. Always. Perpetually. But these tiles essentially make up the cells, and the cells create a dungeon using these patterns. So what it does is it makes a dungeon starting point, which is our location. Oh, there. And then from the starting point it branches out, making a big thing, like so. So this is what each of the dungeon floors would look like in size roughly, maybe bigger. Depends how many rooms I want to add. I'm like messing around with it, and hopefully I can get it so that that spike is decreased tremendously. That would be preferred, but that's kind of difficult to do with my current skill set, as I'm still learning as I go. And this is the whole of JavaScript. Like pretty much everything in the API is not applying to this. This is just all JavaScript. Besides this dungeon though, or I guess the dungeon generator, the only thing I would need to do to complete this would be to go down here and build some rooms on top of these tiles, red indicating walls and gray indicating playable area. And then save that in a structure and it will load up there perfectly fine, all into each other. For this, you just have the floor and a roof. This is like an open space, that's why there's so much open space in the dungeon. We can have a maze-like dungeon, but it's not very great. Oh, I I accidentally just quit. I tabbed out of Minecraft and I tabbed back in, and for some reason it always highlights the save and quit. So by default, whenever I click on the Minecraft again, it leaves the world. It's kind of annoying. I'll show you what I've got going on in the menu. I guess I've got two menus. First menu is on join, and that is selecting your race and selecting your name. Your character name is different from your actual username, and that's just for roleplay purposes, since it's a roleplay game. And in MMOs, you typically will take on, well, in a lot of MMOs at least, you'll have like a main name and a surname that you can click and kind of just become. In this case, you can create your own custom name between 5 and 20 characters. I will show you that now by clearing myself. Okay. And then game mode S. Okay, well, it didn't seem to work, so I guess I'll use the slime magma ball. This is what it looks like when you join the game for the first time. So say initial character setup. After selecting a race and name for your character, a confirm button will appear. You'll be able to be on your way to play the game. Thank you. So when you have two of these selected, confirm button will pop here. Is what it's mentioning. So let's go ahead and click on race. This will open the race list and will grade by our options. This is infinitely expandable. I just need to add it inside the object, as well as the information for the race inside the object, and it will reference that. It will also give tags based on the name here. It's pretty cool. Each race is a unique mechanic and downside in gameplay. So this is that, and also races cannot be switched ever. So gotta be careful. If you click on Elf, it will show you the perks and curses. These are the upsides, so the unique mechanics, and these are the downsides. And this will give you a quick little description of elves. There's a little description for every single different race, just to give you a kind of lore perspective on the races. But you can either select or click back. Clicking back will just take you back to the race list. You can select, we'll put elf in this here instead of none, and it will also give you the tag race elf. That's at a name now. So click on name, select the username. This is what your name will be in when typing in chat, shown as to others. This can be changed later with coins, and you need between 4 to 20 characters in name. The reason it's 4 to 20 is because you can have really low names, and it's kind of weird. Like, you can just do like this. This is not a name, you know. This is a name, sure, or this is the name. Sure, we'll go with this as our name. It can be changed later, but this is what our character name will be. Submit. You'll see Carl Bennings is there. If you have already selected one, also it does say your username here by default. If you click submit now, it won't actually do anything. This is just the flavor text saying that you can use your username. If you don't like the RP side of things, that's totally fine. But let's say if I were not to enter 4 characters, so Das, and I have already put in Carl Bennings, click submit, and it will just say Carl Bennings instead until I come up with something that is 4 at least. Okay, when I click confirm here, it'll say in chat plus elf real, that's my race, and that's my in-game name. When I will type in chat in the future, it's not done yet, in the future above my head, and when I type in chat, it will say my race, no, it will say my title above my head and the character name, and in chat it will say the title and character name as well. So last thing that we have before that concludes all of our updates so far, which is the thing I'm currently working on, which is the player menu. Okay, so don't worry about the number 30. It's just a dummy number for now. But basically these are all options in the player menu. None of these buttons work except from character sheet right now. And this menu will change in structure depending on what you're in. If you're in a party, this won't say join party, this will say your party. Instead of saying create dungeon, it'll say leave party. If you're the owner of a party, it might say start dungeon, your party, disband party, and settings. So it's different depending on what role you have in a party, if you are in one. You can also play solo. There's plans to do that. There's some toggable options to play solo if you want to. But creating a party would mean you can queue up with the same people over and over again in a dungeon, and it's just more neater to do that in a group. So character sheet, let's look at this. This is the one I have done. It's what I just finished doing last night. This will tell you the actual username of the player and their character. This is my name, my character name. This is my level, a dummy number. This is my race. This is my class. There are multiple classes in this. They stack on top of each other, so that's why it says classes. And this is actually a list, so if I have multiple tags, it will list all the tags there. And this is just some dummy stats I put in for display purposes for now. Vitality, defense, strength, dexterity, agility, wisdom, and intelligence. Click back, it takes you back to the player menu. And if you click invest stats, this is only an option if you have stat points. At least one stat point. If you don't have at least one stat point, this option will not appear. You click on this, and this will tell you how many stat points you can invest to max of at the top there, or how many you have rather. This is the stat type you're investing into, so it's a drop down menu, and you can scroll through all the different stat types. Let's say I want to invest in dexterity, sure. And let's say I want to invest 12 points into dexterity. I click submit. Right now it just says a thing in chat, and it doesn't actually do anything because they're all dummy numbers and don't work yet, which is something I'm going to fix later after the whole menu is done. But essentially, if you still have points left over after you've invested, it will reopen the stat invest window, so you can just keep applying to different stat types, and it's not as annoying, because now let's say if I didn't do that, I'd have to go back into invest stats, go all the way here, select a different thing, and then click submit again, and no one really wants to do that. So just little quality of life things. But that's progress so far. So yeah, there's that. It's getting there. I've gotten further than I thought. That dungeon up there, I had to get help from paper with. I didn't really know how to do it myself because, like I said, it's a lot of JavaScript, and I don't have any real experience with JavaScript other than the absolute basics. and because of that experience, I'm not good enough at the moment to create something on my own like that. So that's why the dungeon's going to be very simplified. Something I was going to add is dungeon biomes, or was planned to be added. So that's like basically the same thing as this template here, pasted over, and that would mix into the dungeon. And it uses like a Perlin noise system. I have the code and papers thing for it, but I want to start over so I know what all the code does. And I can't do that because Paper's code is either such a high level of code or it's so messy and it doesn't have any clear instruction of what it does, even if I search it up. So I can't really use it that much, unfortunately. But yeah, we got some pretty good progress so far. Why is it doing that again? Did I leave the world and rejoin? I think I did, didn't I? Oh well. I'll have to save all these in the structure at the end of this video, so then that doesn't keep happening, because that's a pain in my ass. And yeah. I'm not really sure how we're going to do loot rooms, honestly. I haven't really thought about it yet. I'd assume that we'd do something like we'd have it based on these corners here, and how that's scuffed because a lot of the edges of the dungeon would have possible chests. That's a less scuffed than this, for example, which is every wall, not just corners, it's every wall. Or this that's extremely open, so that's like most of the dungeon. Or these that are the same thing, but it's two. And this you can't really do a loot room on this shape. So I don't really know what to do. I might contact Paper about it, honestly, and then just ask him how he did loot rooms. And see how that goes. But I don't know. I'm not too sure yet. Anyways, that's all. Thank you. That's a quick little update. I'm gonna post more frequently. I'll make a playlist for this project if you're interested in it. And yeah, hopefully beta's out soon. I'm really looking forward to it. There's obviously been a setback because I've wanted to start over, and there's now only one coder and one artist currently with a few builders on the team. So yeah, it's that. See you later. Bye.